What a crowd. Usually the applause dies out before I can get up here, so thank you. This is going to be fun. But Kyle Yarber, Groundhog Day Theater. One more time. Let's do it. Yeah. Here's something you probably don't know about me. I'm retired. And I thought since I retired I'd like driving around, but I don't. Well, I have trouble with signs. Well, let me give you a for instance. For instance, they're doing construction over on I-29 where I live, and there's a sign there I don't understand because I don't want to hit a highway worker, but if I do, you'll give me $10,000? Fine. And my neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks, so you walk in there's a sign. I have two questions. Number one, who are the caution children? And number two, why are they walking in the roadway? Someone should have a word with Mr. and Mrs. Caution about their children. And near where I live is a car dealership. In the middle of their parking lot is a stop sign. That's fine. But underneath that, there's another sign that says heavy pedestrian traffic. See, I think that's an insult to skinny pedestrians. And what are you supposed to do when you see a skinny one? Instead of stopping, you're supposed to speed up and try to hit them? Do you get extra points because they're kind of skittish? Sign at the mall got me in trouble the other day. It said 15-minute parking. You seen those? I said, man, that's convenient. So I parked there, spent an hour looking for a store called 15 Minute. Never did find it. Finally, I go back to my car. There's a guy sitting there waiting to park, and he goes, hey, pal, can't you read the sign? I said, I know, right? I'm as upset as you are. I think we were both confused. Well, the other reason I don't like driving around is my car. I don't like my car. So I'm thinking about getting a new car, but I can't decide between a Nissan Maxima and a Nissan Altima. So I think I'll compromise and get a Nissan Maltima. But it only comes in vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Because it's a Maltima. And it's made for people who like to text while they're driving, so it's made for multitasking. Because it's a Malta. You can get the steering wheel on the left or the right because it's multilateral. You know why? Say it with me. Because it's a Malta. Okay, one more. You can get the onboard computer to talk to you in one of several languages because it's multilingual. You know why? Everybody, because it's a Malta. That is very silly. If you want to know about me, you have to know about my first wife, Sally. We met in college when she came over to a friend and me. By the way, are there any English teachers in the room? Any grammar Nazis with us tonight? Because that, oh, you, good. Because that is grammatically correct, right? She came over to me, she came over to a friend and me. You wouldn't say she came over to I, so why would you say she came over to a friend and I? Unless I happen to be dressed as the letter I. In which case you could say she came over to I, at which point she may have said, how is I today? And I, speaking in the third person, may have replied, I is fine. How is you? Which again would only make sense if she were dressed as the letter U. At which point she may have said, you is fine as well. Thank you for asking, I. And then suddenly we had to leave together because someone went to big sign and wanted us to spell fruit, which spelled phonetically as F-R-O-O-T, in which case neither you nor I would be needed. But I digress. She came over to a friend and me and said, hey, could you two guys help me move my trunk up to the dorm room? She knew right away she saw in me potential as a concierge. Yes, ma'am, we'll see to that directly. Enjoy your stay. Now, after we got married, that changed. Right, guys? You get married, that changes. That morphed into, David! David! The laundry basket's full! I'll see to that directly, darling. Enjoy your stay. Now, her friends called me the project. They'd get together and say, so, how's the project? And she'd say, coming along, coming along. I got him doing laundry. Oh, good for you. On command. Oh, you go, girl. Now, we had 3 children. The first is a musician in the rock band Mad Libby. Check him out. The second is a dance instructor and a former Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader. Go Chiefs. And the third is a published author and the one who got me involved in stand-up comedy. So let's review. We have music, dance, and literature. My background is in mathematics and computers. So one of 2 things has happened. Either all my genes are recessive, or the mailman was delivering more than letters. And we never had a lot of money, so we had to economize. Sometimes when you economize, you have to compromise. Here's what happened. She needed knee replacement surgery, both knees. But we didn't have a lot of money, so we had to avoid those surgeons. Man, those guys are crazy expensive. So we went over to Fairfax Industrial District, to one of those aftermarket body parts stores. You been there? Yeah, they got them. We went to one called Knuckles for Nickels. We were over there, and we were out there, and there's a big sign underneath it that says, "We service what we sell." And we got there, they were having an overstock sale, a BOGO. And I said, "Hey, hon, you want to save some money?" She said, "Yeah, if we can, but come on, my knees are killing me over here." So we had them replaced with elbows. And they work great, except now she walks like a flamingo. Like this. Oops. Like this. And now when she gives me the look, oh, come on, guys, you know the look. The look's when you're out with your wife or your girlfriend, and you say something stupid, or something inappropriate, or in my case, something stupid and inappropriate, and she gives me the look. Ladies, do me a favor, turn to the nearest guy and give him the look. Yeah, that's what don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about, all right? Anyway, we were out the other day, and I said something, and she gave me what I now call the flamingo look. I said, "Hey, hon, what do you think? Is that a man or a woman?" And she gave me one of these. Yeah, it made my teeth itch. That's bad. And now that I'm retired, I like to travel. Anybody else like to travel just for fun? Here recently, I was up in the state of Maine, and while I was there, they were having an exhibition of the state horse, which is a Morgan. It's a workhorse, also used for harness racing. And I went over there, I was talking to the guide, and I said, "Is there a leader of this group of horses, leader of the pack, so to speak?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely, it's that big stallion over there." And I said, "So that's the main horse of all of Maine's horses?" And he said, "Oh, that's cute. That's cute." I said, "What do you call that hair on the back of his neck?" And he said, "That's called a mane." I said, "So that's the mane on the main horse for the state of Maine." He said, "Okay, clever. You're clever." I said, "I notice he has knots tied in his hair, and some of the horses have their hair braided. Is it like that all the time?" And he said, "Well, most of the time, but 1 month out of the year, we take out the knots, we take out the braids, and just let their hair relax." And I said, "What month is that?" He said, "Well, typically the month of May." I said, "Okay, let me understand this. If I tied knots in horses' hair for a living, you would tell me that in the month of May, I would not be permitted to tie knots in the hair of that stallion." He said, "That's right." I said, "But the rest of the year, I would be permitted to tie knots in the mane of the main horse for the state of Maine." He said, "You got it." I said, "So in May, I may not knot the main. But if it's not May, I may not the main. And he said, "What?" And I said, "Well, in May, I may not the main, but if it's not May, I may not the main. And he said, "Security! Get this guy out of here, he's being an ass." I said, "I thought we were talking about horses." Anyway, My cousin recently lost his faith. He's what the church calls an apostate, someone who's fallen away. And recently he had to go to the doctor for a digital exam, and by digital I mean this digit in particular. And when he got there, the doctor, instead of asking him to bend over, asked him to lie down on the table. And he said, why? And the doctor said, well, I've never performed a prostate exam on an apostate who is prostrate. My cousin said, what? He said, I've never performed a prostate exam on a prostrate apostate. And my cousin said, oh, you mean the old prostrate apostate prostate exam. Why didn't you say so? Now here's the deal. I know you guys are going to go home and tell this joke to your friends and neighbors, so we're going to practice. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. A prostrate apostate prostate exam. Okay, can you put them all together? Here we go. A prostrate apostate prostate exam. Did you get it on your first try? That's great. I didn't, and I'm the one that made up that joke. My cousin came over to see me the other day, and I think he needs hearing aids because we had trouble communicating. Here's what happened. He came over, and we were talking, and I said, hey, I got an idea. Let's go to a movie. And he said, great, I'll drive. And I said, no need, it's just a short walk. He said, what? I said, it's just a short walk. And he said, what's a short walk? I said, what? He said, I've heard of the mountain walk and the prairie walk. In fact, I think I saw a prairie walk one time outside Omaha, beautiful plumage. I said, what are you talking about? He said, the short walk. I said, okay, as long as we're on the same page. I said, here's how you get there. You go out the door and you head up Dewey Street. He said, what? I said, you go out the door and you head up Dewey Street. He said, Dewey Street? I said, that's right. I said, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, I don't know how to street. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you go out the door. You said you go out the door and we walk up Dewey Street. I said, that's right. Well, I don't know how to street. I said, no, not how to street, Dewey Street. And he said, I don't know. I said, why not? I just told you. And he said, look, Sparky. Slow down, grab the reins. I said, just calm down, there's no need to get upset. So here's, once you go up to Dewey Street, you get to the corner, and you take a left, and he said, right. And I said, no, if you take a right, you'll be left behind. He said, what? I said, if you take a right, you'll be left. So I take a left, I said, right. He said, so you take a right? I said, no, if you take a right, you'll be wrong. And he said, you don't have many friends, do you? I said, just calm down, it's going to be okay. We're halfway there. So what we do next is we go up Don't We Avenue. He said, oh, you're doing it again. I said, what are you talking about? He said, we go up Don't We Avenue? I said, that's right. He said, I don't know how to street. I'm certainly not going to know how to avenue. I said, no, not how to avenue, Don't We Avenue. And he said, I don't know. I said, why not? I just told you. And he said, you're pissing me off. Why don't we just stay home and watch TV? I said, no, because now we're at the theater. He says, finally. What's the name of this theater? I said, it's called the We Don't Walk Theater. He said, what's the name? I said, We Don't Walk. I said, well, how are we going to get there? We walk. I thought you said we don't walk. I said, that's right. So how are we going to get there? We walk. He said, look, how about this? How about if I just punch you in the face? I said, just calm down. It's going to be okay. I tell you what, you tell me how to get there. He said, oh, this is not going to work. I said, no, you tell me. You see. He says, okay. We started out talking about a bird. Why? I don't know. He's told me to go out the door and walk up Dewey Street. I don't know. I don't know how to street. We get to the corner, I turn right to be left, a left to be right, and a right to be wrong. I don't know where I am at this point, but nonetheless, I continue to go up Don't We Avenue? I don't know. If I don't know how to street, I'm certainly not going to know how to avenue. And then we do walk till we don't walk to the short walk. And at this point, I don't know much, but I do know this. When I get there, I'm going to strangle you. He said, what? I said, when you get there, I'm going to strangle you. I said, oh, that's the name of the movie. Now, comedians have bits. You heard my bit on driving around. You heard my bit on my first wife's cell. But occasionally, comedians just have these random thoughts. let me see if I can share with you some of my random thoughts. Okay, here we go. If a hysterectomy is hers and a hernia is his, shouldn't it be called a hisnea and a hersterectomy? Is talking about gun control a trigger for you? No. Oh, here we go. Dyslexics have a tough time living in our world because they reverse things. My cousin is dyslexic. He likes Wisconsin barbecue and Kansas City cheese. He likes French whiskey and Irish wine. He likes corn from Vermont and maple syrup from Nebraska. Fortunately, his name is Bob. They say English is the hardest language to learn, and I believe it. There's a sandwich at Subway called Black Forest ham. You seen that one? I see that. I have questions. Number one, is that black ham from the green forest or pink ham from the black forest? I think to avoid confusion, they should call it pink, green, black forest ham. What do you think? A lady posted on Facebook that she was looking for a plumber to replace her water heater. I posted it would be better to replace the water heater with another water heater. In high school, I dated a girl who her senior year was voted miscellaneous. Her favorite, probably because her favorite phrase was, whatever. In high school, I dated another girl who her senior year was voted misdirection. She got fired from her first job at Google Maps. Anyway. Enough silliness. So, here's a news flash. I'm old. And I know what you're thinking. No! Yes. It's true. Old age is the unfortunate side effect of not dying. And again, I know what you're thinking. Well, gee, Dave, I'm not dead. Am I old? Well, there's a question you're going to have to answer for yourself. But I like to help. Here's some things that I do. See if you can relate. I occasionally get the day of the week from my pillbox. Yeah, look at that. It's already W. Seems like just yesterday it was F. Where does the time go? And I don't worry about the long-term effects of anything. I don't. The other day I was reading about the long-term effects of cell phone use. I don't care. It's not my problem. And I hurt my elbow, but I'm old. I didn't want to wait for Tommy John surgery, so I got Jimmy John surgery. And it was freaky fast. I mean, it worked great, except now my elbow smells like a ham and cheese sandwich with pickles and onions. I like it. And I've started ending conversations with my children with "I love you," because let's face it, at my age, every conversation is potentially my last conversation. I was on the phone the other day with my daughter. At the end of the conversation, I said, "I love you." She said, "I love you too." And just for fun, I added, "I love you more." And she said, "I wouldn't be surprised." And I know old people are more vulnerable to street crime, so I signed up for what I thought was a short course in martial arts. Turns out there was a typo. It was a short course in marital arts. It wasn't a waste of money because it turns out the two have a lot in common. In martial arts, as a sign of respect, you bow to the sensei in the dojo. Kia. In marital arts, as a sign of respect, you say, "Yes, dear." Kia. In martial arts, there's a defensive move, a down block. In marital arts, there's a defensive move, "No, that does not make your butt look big." In martial arts, there's a crippling move, a side kick. In marital arts, there's a crippling move, "I heard you the first time." And people ask me if I request the senior discount. And I say, well, yes. Yes, I do. Except when ordering coffee at McDonald's. I don't know if you're aware of this, but at McDonald's, the senior coffee, like a lot of seniors, is cold and bitter. And I've started going to venues that cater to my demographic. There's a new one in town, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's not a biker bar, country western bar. It's the Fiber Bar. It's nice. You walk in there, it's well lit. All the tables are wheelchair accessible. A little Barry Manilow playing in the background. They have a limited a la carte menu, but they do have tapioca, broth, pudding, basically anything that can be eaten with or without teeth. And at the bar, they have a full complement of vitamin waters, herbal teas, but their signature drink is Jell-O shots made with lime Jell-O and prune juice. Yeah, they call it the shooter. And I've started worrying about who's going to inherit what I have, or truth be told, what I have left. Because if things go according to plan, that won't be very much. I want my life and my 401k to run out at the same time. I want my last check to bounce. And for you young people, a check is a piece of paper from a bank. Works like a really slow debit card. Anyway, I pretty much decided I want my son to inherit my estate, such as it is. And ever since I told him that, he's been raising rabbits and bringing me their fur. And I don't know what to do with my heirs. My heirs. That was a sticker, wasn't it? I probably shouldn't have told that one. Not too late now. And I know, exactly. And I know people are supposed to stay active, so I joined a fitness club. And I now do what we in the fitness community call progressions. Here's what I do. I start out with a little cardio on the elliptical. And from there I progress right to wanting to go home. So, right now it's just a 2-step progression. But I have discovered that since I started working out, I have fewer back issues of National Geographic. Ha! See what I did there? Back issues? Yeah, I recycled them. You know what I wish? I wish there was a place I could go to see, to recycle me. Go to some back alley chop shop, see what my organs would bring on the black market. Yeah, Mr. Scott, good news and bad news. Lungs are good, haven't smoked in 40 years, good for you. Ticker's got a lot of miles on it, but that liver, good Lord, son. Do you even remember your 20s? And I've started using the phrase kids these days. When did that start? Kids these days have some strange weddings. I went to a wedding here 3 months ago just for this next joke. 2 CrossFit instructors got married. It was nice. The bride, the bridesmaids, the groom, the groomsmen, all wore matching tank tops, gym shorts, socks, and Reeboks. I like that joke because I like saying socks and Reeboks. The bride came down the aisle doing lunges. On the altar, the bride and the groom were on facing treadmills. After the ceremony, the minister said, "You may kiss the bride." The groom lay down on a bench, getting ready to do a bench press. The bride stood above him, getting ready to do a push-up. And as he flexed his arms for the bench press, she lowered herself for the push-up. And their lips met for their first wedded kiss. I know, it was lovely. But they weren't done because they had to do 10 reps. And at the reception, the bride, instead of throwing a bouquet, threw a kettle weight. No, let me tell you, the bridesmaids just scattered. And kids these days are always showing us their underwear. What's up with that? It's summertime, you see a kid walking down the street with no shirt, you're going to see his underpants sticking up there. Young women are always showing us their bra straps. I don't get it. But here's my question. You think old people can't be on the cutting edge of fashion? You want to see underwear? I got your underwear right here, pal. You want to look old and young at the same time? Boom! And kids these days like their rap music, which I do not understand. Rap is music without melody. I don't get it. I mean, have you ever heard a young man walking down the street whistling his favorite rap song? No, you have not. And kids these days like their emojis, which I do not understand. Using emojis as corresponding without words. I don't get it. I mean, have you ever overheard two teenage girls and one of them says, "This weekend Jeremy said to me, Cupid, arrow, heart, sunset. Isn't he just sugar cube cloud?" No, you've never heard it. But here's my question. What if an old white guy tried to combine those two, emojis and rap? It might go a little something like this. Okay, I need your help. Here we go. Come on, here we go. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I forgot my old white guy rapper sunglasses. Okay, here we go. I love my baby all that. Smiley face, winky face, cat. My baby's so hot, she makes me feel loopy. Fire, 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 poopy. Gonna pop the question because I think we're ready. Ring, ring, church confetti!